we're not represented because we've got no money at this stage.
Well, because they've got it all.
Yeah, they've got it all. I've been saving for my pension though.
She was represented by me.
Yeah, not great.
Did a pretty good job, as you can see.
Yeah. And when I asked her if she would like to create a precedent in this case, and how could she justify it, she thought about it and thought she couldn't. So she said that she was going to go and get advice.
We never saw her again.
We never saw her again.
It keeps happening. It happens at VCAT too, when we go, are you sure you want to do this? Well, one, setting a completely illegal precedent for a trust. And what's the other? Do you really want to go down for murdering my brother as well? They all go, I'll just go get a second opinion. Sometimes they come back and go, yeah, no, we will. We will do that. Or they just get somebody new who will accept it, who will be bribed enough to do the incredibly wrong
Anyway,
thing.
so about probably half an hour later
What was his
after it
name?
finished.
What was the judge's name?
We shouldn't say so because
I
it's
think we should.
No.
This is the most dishonourable man I've ever met in my life.
He
So
is. He's
I
terrible.
will be putting up his name. Sorry, but I will be.
Okay, so
He needs to be disgraced. He's a bit passionate about this one. You want to go back there?
I just think it's funny. I just can't believe that anyone can get away with this. But that's justice in Australia.
We don't have it.
No, we don't have any. Okay, so I can't get anything. I can't get any discovery documents, nothing. Rupert, you must not go. Okay, so no discovery documents. So the opposition gave us all the trust documents for the houses that we lived in and returned the money to the court. And they also gave us the accounts, the ledger, whatever, from funds in court. But they didn't give us the first page.
They didn't give us anything. What are you talking about? Dad had all that documents. Supreme Court didn't when we had the
I thought that was the opposition gave it to us.
No, we requested. Dad already had all the common fund reports.
Well,
he had everything.
Have the first one.
No, he does. But what it is it's all scrambled. It's all scrambled. The type.
Oh.
The original document was scrambled, and so when you photocopied it each time, it's got worse each time. You can barely see.
Okay.
But then we had a hearing where we requested, remember, discovery documents, and we weren't given anything. So no, just a correction. The opposition gave us nothing. Complete refusal for all documents.
And so did the judge.
And so did the judge.
Yeah, we weren't even entitled to ask for them. He was incredibly rude whenever we were there.
We couldn't speak at all.
We couldn't speak.
It was a joke.
Yeah, his mates my son would be the ones who spoke, and he'd listen to every stupid thing they said. I'd taken some money out before I lost total access to the...
Only because Dom was emptying the account.
Yeah.
Dominic was emptying Patrick's money.
Yeah, but I'd had to take money out because my husband had spent the past 2 years getting a permit for an apartment that would have earned us quite a lot of money on this, attached to the house with a glass thing. Would have looked great.
Yeah, and an absolute bomb.
Yeah, and also full-car garage. And when he was dying, I promised to build the garage. He knew I couldn't possibly be capable enough to build the apartment. But I finished off what he'd started with another construction, and I built a garage. He told me just to get a kit home because it'll be too difficult. So I did that and got the builder that we were already using at the time to put up the garage as well. So they're saying that I'm stealing from the fund. The fund is mine. My husband left me as a pointer. How can I possibly steal my own money? Especially to spend on the trust.
On the property.
Yeah, on
trust
the property. Yeah, and a little bit of money that I actually did have. That was long gone before we even got to that stage because my husband was ill and he wasn't working, so I had to play the gardener a bit more. It all cost a lot of money. So we'd also been paying the rates. Bit mad of us.
Yeah, no, I paid 2 rates. That was very silly.
Yeah, because Alice could work then because we weren't allowed to visit Patrick.
Well, barely could work though. I had to work full time plus prepare for the court case.
Yeah, but when we were visiting Patrick, of course she can't work. Towards the end of it, we got a different judge and she said that this is before the judgment. I didn't actually know this was the court case. I thought it was the interrogatories and all that sort of stuff beforehand, whatever it's called. Because I remember we did that a lot with Patrick's thing at the Supreme Court. So she said that it wasn't fair that we weren't represented. Very true. She said that they would want us to be represented, but then of course nobody would want to represent us, because if you did a decent job, the Supreme Court would not view you very well. So we had a little guy that we used for VCAT, and he agreed to do it.
His name's Alan Ford, by the way.
Yeah, and
I plan on disgracing every single person.
Yeah, and
it was ridiculous.
He came up with a solicitor, and the solicitor looked around the house and nasty comments. I mean, this is house designed for Patrick. It's actually uncomfortable for ordinary people, isn't it? It's huge.
It's terrible to live in. The sound just travels. It's too big, and there's not enough walls.
Yeah, there's no walls, because manoeuvring a wheelchair, I want Patrick to have access to the whole house. Why shouldn't he have the house that he's going to live in?
It just means there's no...
Yeah, we have double doors to bathroom and bedrooms, and there's double doors everywhere.
If you're living with like a family here, though, it's almost impossible.
Yeah, it is quite difficult. So that was good that they wouldn't do that. Didn't like the solicitor much.
Solicitor was useless.
Yeah, useless. Just rude. Our little guy, Alan, who is always completely incompetent at VCAT.
I don't know why you thought he would be any good. I was better than Alan Ford.
No. Well, I guess they appointed him, so I guess they let us have a barrister because they didn't want us to question anything or complain.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Yeah. Who knows?
Anyway, it's a complete dead loss. He told the court that he justified that the fund belonged to me by saying that I had a sentimental attachment to it. Well, I'm sort of sentimentally attached to my life savings, but probably most of us.
All of us are sentimental to that. But that's not the reason, the legal reason that we're basing this on, no. No,
and he should have understood that, but I guess, he was told what to do, and he made it piss poor effort, claiming that I was sentimentally attached to my funds. And he came up with a deal too, that I could stay here until I died and manage the whole place to continue the holiday rentals that we did when we went down. Okay.
Until you die. So basically, I'd be doing all the work, Dad'd get all the money, Mum would die, and then I'd get kicked out.
I was over 70 years old when this happened. I could just see me out there. This is a full-time job. My husband worked
It's 76 acres or something.
Yeah, my husband, that's what's left after we subdivided it. My husband worked on the garden or the house, just
24/7.
Yeah, 24/7.
7 in the morning till 7 at night.
Well, 12. No, it must have been after 7 because he used to ring me quite regularly. 7:30.
Yeah, that's when he's finished. No, that's when he's finished, and he sat down and he's taking the dogs for a walk. So 7:30 is when he's sitting down.
Oh, okay. So there's no way that a 70-year-old woman can do that. And
we wouldn't have made the deal anyway.
No, I wouldn't have made the deal anyway. I don't care about the house, I don't care where I live. If I don't have Patrick, what's it matter? It's just that...
As I said, it does matter because it's for everybody else.
Yeah.
Mum's only focused on Pat, I'm focused on trying to change the system and supplying a nice NDIS place for lots of people.
Yeah, but...
which is safe.
This is the only property that's not mortgaged too. We don't mortgage the house that's Patrick's, and the trustees' assets stripped a lot of our properties. I don't know which one.
Yeah, I don't know whether. I believe it's only here in Woodend and Paris that's left. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, well, that little crook.
There might be Dalesford, I'm not sure. I haven't looked.
Can't bother looking, I don't care. Anyway, the judge, we'd always had to have it in Skype before, but now we've got to go into the Supreme Court for what I think is the court case. Complete misunderstanding.
We wouldn't have gone to the court case if we'd known what it actually was that day. We would have just outright refused.
Yes, so we're sitting in court. Our daughter
had switched teams.
She had switched teams for a few minutes.
For about a week, she switched teams. Yeah. Because she thought we were on the winning side.
So she's sitting with us, and this guy, after he'd heard the stupidity from Alan, an equal pile of garbage from the other side, he gave his little ruling. And we now know why he won't give us the first page of the Funds in Court ledger, because he's now claiming that this was a gift to us from Funds in Court. That seems very careless, that they would just give $250,000 away to somebody's parents.
They're saying that it was Pat's money.
They said it was paid into Funds in Court. It
never hit Funds in Court.
It was never in Funds in Court. It was a payment to us, and it came directly to us.
And the ruling says that it's for past expenses in association with Patrick. That's what it actually says in the ruling for the 250,000.
Yeah, and he said quite rightly, this is one of the bases of our trust.
And then we can prove point by point by point exactly where the money has gone. So what properties were bought with what money and how much mum and dad put back into funds in court. We presented all of that. Even with a top economist backing us saying it's definitely not Patrick's money.
Oh, look, we could have had God to testify.
It was the top economist.
Yes, and what was his next thing? Oh, they'd given us all these properties. Well, no, he sort of was trying to claim that all the properties that we'd lived in, like England, Australia and everything, were owned concurrently, but they were owned consecutively. And we'd put a lot of money into them ourselves. And he said that we denied the deeds of trust, although I've actually got them.
They're right in front of him.
They're right in front of him. He must have got them too.
Yeah, and then he did. It was in our submissions. We've mentioned this previously. We haven't got into great detail, so this is another basis for
30 years
ruling.
before, in a totally different circumstance, when they originally offered us to manage Pat's funds, and we didn't take it, and we never signed that contract. We wouldn't have taken them anyway if we thought we were bound by a load of garbage.
Yeah, this is the one that was investing sort of in the same way that the Supreme Court was doing.
Yes, only less efficiently because
0 points in.
Yeah, 0 point. So
they decided to use that even though it was unsigned.
Yeah, he's claiming that it's the basis of it.
Yeah.
Basis of the whole thing.
The basis of the whole thing is an
then
unsigned
the other
contract.
thing he said was that my husband was such an amazing manipulator.
Yeah. So he managed to fool the funds in court. His name is Master Marnie, by the way. It is an incredibly famous family within the law area, isn't it? Was manipulated by my father into obtaining all of Patrick's money.
Yes.
He fooled funds in court in the Supreme Court, apparently.
And apparently this unsigned 30-year-old contract for something completely different was what we had to abide by. Well, you can see every single point that he made. It's all easily refuted, but what can you do? It's the Supreme Court. Some idiot decides to have a piece of you.
We were all in a bit of shock at this stage too. Dad was still sort of stuffing us up a bit. But everything was just a bit of shock, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I wasn't thinking...
my husband had only been dead for a short while. Okay, so that's sort of the history of our funds and how we were illegally defrauded from my point of view.
I would like it out there that Master Marnie is being completely and utterly discredited by the Supreme Court.
Which I don't think is fair. I didn't like him much. He was a bit of a nasty old man.
There's a lot worse than him in there.
Oh yes, he said that Master Marnie didn't know how to read discretionary trust because my husband was able to fool him that this was some sort of scam to get money out of the court. And poor thing, he's a judge. I presume he's got a law degree.
No, his whole family is extremely highly regarded. I've done research on it. His son...
But he doesn't know what a discretionary trust is. And an architect can convince him of something that isn't.
Yeah.
And they're the points
That's
that
the
this is
basis.
settled on.
That's the basis of it.
Yeah.
And also, Master Marnie's family and friends will not be, well, they may be aware of it, but they're aware also that this is not public knowledge because, as I've already stated, this case was locked. So they're really only discrediting Master Marnie to us, which is why I'm trying to get it out there on this video and make sure that they know.
In his defence, I'm sure that he did an adequate job, but he's a public servant. What do you expect?
No, but he wasn't that bad. I haven't seen anything. I haven't read anything like what the guys that we've encountered nowadays are like.
Oh no,
he does not deserve this in the slightest. So yeah. Master Marnie's family, just be aware of the fact that the Supreme Court is chucking him under the bus.
Well, has
chucked him under the bus and discredited him.
And it's ridiculous to suggest that he doesn't know what a discretionary trust is. Yep. So that's the things that he based his judgment on.
It is.
And not one of them can be validated. We can disprove all of them. But
we'd be suing right now back for it, but we don't have the funds to actually get a solicitor or anything like that. But once things have settled down a little bit, then we're going to start proceedings that way, or we'll do it once the eviction comes in. So.
I don't really care. If Pat's not going to survive, I don't really care. So the reasons that the judgment went against us, a judgment that we'd never been able to defend, was that the basis of our fund was the 250,000. Well, that wasn't true. Got us out of a hole, got us going again. but that's not true. That the 30-year plus contract that we didn't sign 30 years ago is the master's intentions when he gave us the cash, although he didn't have any. Must have put no conditions on this money at all. That my husband was such a Machiavellian that he convinced a Supreme Court judge that he convinced him that our family trust was to protect Patrick, which it was, but was Patrick's property, and that's our superannuation, life savings, our homes, everything.
Absolutely everything, as in on the street.
Yeah, and there's one more thing, isn't there? And that all the properties that the court had bought for us to live in, I say all, can't remember how many there are, were owned concurrently and not consecutively. In fact, he never mentioned the fact that we also contributed financially to the purchases, and that there was should have been deeds of trust. Well, he's got them in front of him. He knows, and I have them too. So that's easily proved. And I think, actually, that a person who's a judge of the Supreme Court should know what a discretionary trust is.
You would hope so.
Yeah, you would hope so. But anyway, that's our little thing at the moment.
That's the corruptness of the Supreme Court and the legal system within Australia.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Okay, well, thank you for your time.
Bye from me.
And bye from the boys.